one of the biggest things that DAOs have is a treasury, so it's like you're out here doing initiatives to grow a treasury to now fund your project. So all it takes is really good structure, the same thing that a business has, but now instead of one person making all of the decisions, everybody's making all of the decisions. And I think that's where the shift changes.
Hi everyone, welcome yet to another episode of NewForum. NewForum is powered by NewCoin Foundation and is focused on fostering decentralized social applications, also known as Social 3.0, by forming an ecosystem and a community of visionaries, creators, and investors to spark conversations on the topics of crypto, the metaverse, NFTs, and everything Web3.
And on this episode of NewForum, we're super excited to have Mocaso. Mocaso is the founder of Raw DAO, and Raw DAO is a platform structured to educate, network, and transform physical to digital assets. We're super excited to talk with her about Raw DAO's mission and vision, as well as the learn to earn concept in NFTs. Hey, Mocaso, super excited you could join us today.
Hello. Thank you both for having me. I'm so excited to speak with you all about NFTs, fashion, and everything in between today.
So to start things off, what is Raw DAO and how did you come to the DAO space?
Yeah, so Raw DAO is a concept I came up with. I was initially a part of another DAO called the Global Designer Network, which is an awesome DAO filled of designers from all over the world. They're powered by DIGITALAX, another ecosystem that's like into fashion and gaming and just about like anything you could imagine. So they had an initiative where designers could actually empower themselves and create their own fashion brand in the Web3 space. So they enabled us with smart contracts and marketplaces and like everything you need as a true designer to really get into this space. So one of the first things I had to do was figure out what my niche was and then go from there. So I am a physical designer. Like I was saying, this is one of my tie-dye t-shirts that I make here. And then I actually transform it into a digital version where I make patterns for my tie-dyes and then digital t-shirts and glow-in-the-dark bodysuits because they also glow in the dark. So I really found that my niche was this physical to digital thing. So I was like, that's what I want my brand to be about. And then it transformed into this whole DAO because it's like everybody's going to need to go physical to digital eventually. And I have this knack for onboarding as well. I always kind of find myself in one of those roles, and that's where the education and the networking comes in. So it was like, I was in this space like, man, these are the three things that can really help people revolutionize their lives and start transforming what they're already doing. Because I realized that's why a lot of people weren't like excited sometimes about Web3 because they felt like they didn't want to abandon, all that they know and have been doing so far. So it's like, no, you don't have to do that. You can, do what you're doing. Just let's revolutionize it a little bit. Let's digitize. Let's go global with it and start thinking about what's happening and how you can be a part of that with what you're doing as well. So, just finding this love of teaching people how to use their gifts and get a part of what's happening. So that's where the idea really came from. At this point, though, we have gone independent with writing our own contracts and creating our own marketplaces. We do have a few engineers as well. So it's very exciting. We're in like this, each season we come up with a new theme, and this season is all about renewal. So we'll be dropping our smart contract again and our governance token, and it's just been really exciting as a DAO being able to figure this all out together, because from day one it hasn't just been me. Luckily, I put it out there and I'm like, anybody that wants to join, come on over, let's figure this out. And we've been working it ever since.
That's amazing. It sounds like you've been having a lot of fun. And I really love that everything you've said so far with this idea of like digital, because I'm one of those who had that struggle, trying to just this idea of like, oh, do I just go digital? Do I just go do I have to pick, right? But it's nice that we can merge both worlds, right? And I think that's like the beauty. And I'm curious to know, what's your background? Like what were you like, which space were you in terms of like Web2? Were you like a fashion designer? And
Well, I do so
Oh.
in like Web2, yeah. So I had like a normal corporate job, but then I also have my sewing machine who's right here next to me as well. And I really came from wanting to always create my own wardrobe. You know, that's why even today I'm like, no, let me wear one of my t-shirts. It came about like me always wanting to, even when I was younger, like upcycling for thrifting and like always kind of having my own visions of what I want to wear and, you know, kind of creating that. So when I came into this space, I was like, wow, there's a whole nother layer of this that we can like take this up a notch with, especially when it comes to that digital and filters and just like so many awesome things that I have like brewing. But like I said, I was just using my sewing machine before that. So it's like coming into the space, having to learn about Web3, about 3D fashion, and everything in between. It's a lot of fun, definitely every day, but a lot of learning as well. And, you know, every day I just make sure I keep that open mind to try to learn something and gain these skills that I know are going to really carry me for the next 20, 30, 50 years or so.
I really love your story and like your mindset, and you know, like you're really embracing the Web3 tools and the Web3 space. And I think that's really great example of how other people can also do the same. And you know, me and Celine, we were always about fashion because we also worked in fashion before. So you know, we love to see that you're shining in the space and you're making the path in the space. And yeah, I'm wondering what were some of the key takeaways or like struggles when building a DAO? Like how do you perceive this whole process for yourself?
I would say the most challenging part was actually creating a team, especially because I'm still at ground zero. Luckily, the biggest saving grace is before this, one of like the little side things I was doing is I started a book club for like women all over. And it was funny because I've been in crypto for about 3 years now, I want to say. So I have always like been seeing the stuff that's happening. So I had started a Discord because I'm like, oh, Discord is like this new thing that's coming. But I was like, it's just for women, and we could talk about all the things women need to talk about, like cooking dinner and, you know, sharing meals and recipes and kids and, you know, a chat for God and just like all these different things that like women have to balance throughout the day. And that turned into a book club. So there's a few women from the book club that were like, learned about crypto, you know, with me, and then about NFTs. And I'm like, look, I've got this awesome idea for this DAO. You guys just come on, you know, just take your gifts. Let's come on over. So like one girl who actually made these earrings, she's now learned how to make her handmade jewelry into digital jewelry, you know, and now I'm taking that a step further into filters. And then another girl from the book club, she has a lot of animals. So I showed her how to just take pictures of her animals and turn that picture of their fur into like fur. So she made like a fur bag without having to do like any animal cruelty. So luckily I had those few ladies from that really have been like staples in the community, awesome moderators, awesome strategists, helped me like batch create content. We just had, we started this thing on Sundays called like content creation parties, where we added a music bot to the Discord, and we go in on Sundays and we just start adding songs to the bot, and we just create content for the DAO on Sundays together and sharing it in the chat and like, you know, creating templates like this week, this is what we need to be sharing about so that we can, you know, keep on this mission. But that was honestly one of the most challenging things. Luckily, we did get an engineer kind of early on, Sergio, who kind of his vision just aligned with ours, where it's just all about education and collecting resources to help the next. So because that's our mission, a lot of people honestly love that mission as well. So it's like, let's create this space where we can come together and make this happen. So that's been something that has helped us, you know, start to attract people, get a little momentum. But in the very beginning, definitely creating that core team was a little challenging. I know a few other of the designers that started as well that didn't have as much as support in the beginning. It definitely was even a bigger struggle. Like I said, I had the little book club ladies. So seeing the activity in the Discord, you know, little things like that gets the community hype. Like, oh, there's some stuff going on here, and I don't always have to be that point of contact. And starting to like realize early on, like I have to delegate tasks to other people for this to be a true DAO. So now we have one person that runs the Instagram, and one person that runs the TikTok, and one person that runs the Twitch, and starting to teach people. My biggest thing is we have 5 core groups in the Raw DAO, which are moderators, strategists, engineers, creatives, and educators. And it's like in this Web3 space, we have to upskill ourselves again so that all of us are gaining these skills that all of these Web3 companies need. Everybody needs project managers and community managers and these different roles. So it's like every single person in our community, I want basically building like their Web3 resume, using the Raw DAO as an opportunity to learn, to skill, to really get in the ground and upskill themselves so that they have more opportunities in the future to collaborate with more and more and more people. So just kind of reminding people, outreach, get more people in while you're also upskilling, while you're learning and growing our DAO and yourselves in totality was something that we're still, doing. I think everybody in Web3, when you first get started, it's like that slow uphill battle at first, but I can say recently we've been doing a lot of the groundwork to get the foundation set because we are ready for that like overflow with some of the awesome little ideas that we have brewing. So it's like, man, we know one day that flip can switch, and then we are going to be ready for that.
You sound so passionate about what you do. It's contagious. I really love it. And it sounds like you guys have a system or a structure that is working really well for you. I'm just curious to know, how are decisions made?
Yes, I love that question. So we have a community call every Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, where we talk about everything. And I always kind of urge people to share their opinion about it. I go around like, okay, everybody, what do you think we should add here? What do you think? Create a list. Like right now we're working on our roadmap, and it's like everybody drop one thing you think we should get done Q2, Q3, Q4. So now we can start getting a full idea. And outside of our core team, we also put these out to the community as well. So something fun about that as well is in our community calls, we set goals together, and say, hey, this is where we need to be with our DAO. And like I said, we have engineers for this website that we're trying to build and all these other ideas. So it's like, okay, engineers, what do you need? Strategists, what do you need? And each of the 5 core teams actually puts out 1 or 2 tasks that the entire community can also complete to, again, help us all start reaching our goals. So that's the biggest thing. Like even now, anytime anybody's talking about anything in the community, they're like, oh, well, we'll just wait till Friday and then we'll really start talking about it. And I'm like, yes, I love that. And I think once we get a little bigger, it's going to become a lot more structured, where we're going to have kind of branches per se, where it's like you can get educated, and this hasn't been ironed out. So this is super exclusive information for you all as we're like trying to figure out how to do the actual voting stuff, where it's like, maybe if you take a workshop, because we have workshops all the time, and you gain some expertise in an area to earn governance tokens, because we also have our own governance token, which is the build governance token. So you can earn that governance token. And now it's kind of like right here in the US, how we have the executive branch and the judicial branch and 3 different branches. So it's like, 3 different branches to be able to have 3 different says, and then let these votes kind of go through a system instead. So trying to figure out what that system would be, like starting in a town hall area where we'll have a town hall. Anybody in the community can kind of pitch ideas. And then, it can go through the first branch where we can maybe start to edit that proposal, and then it go to the next one where we vote on it, and then go to the community where now everybody can vote on the final proposal per se. So that would be like the big vision for how I would love to see our voting structure go, especially with the things that I've kept in mind, where you can have everybody vote on everything, which is a super awesome idea, but who really wants to vote on everything? And then you get a lack of participation, and it doesn't start working as well as you think, where if you have people that really love that kind of stuff anyways and want that to be their role, and take on that responsibility and then kind of start to filter it, now you start to get better results, I think, in a DAO with people that have a good understanding, can help make good decisions and want to be in those positions for the DAO. And then always going back to the community. We always, again, are all about the community, always having an opinion, always having a say, always being able to vote. Right now, the way our governance token is, you just have your tokens, you get to earn them with the tasks that I mentioned before, and then we use those to vote. Right now, it's been on a 1-to-1 vote though, where again, I think that makes it a little simpler until we do have the rest of it really outlined, where it's like, I have my say, you have your say, yay or nay. How many yays do we have? How many nays do we have? Okay, this is the direction. So right now our team is a little small. That has been the basis of it as we've been having to just go through the decisions. But again, that is one of those processes that it's like, let's iron out how to do this officially right now, as well as when we scale. So there's like 2 versions that we've been kind of playing with, is what we can do right now and what we would really like to see these things look like once we have the manpower and the people that need it set up like this.
Speaking about Web3 space and creators and everything, I'm just wondering, how can we get more people into using digital tools? Because how will people even find out about, let's say, a DAO, or maybe where to find, unless they go on Twitter, So sometimes I'm just wondering, how can we be more helpful in that sense to make it more accessible?
Yes, and that's a great question. And that's one of the things we've tried to tackle as well, especially with us wanting to be that person in the community to look at man, I want to go physical to digital. Let me go and find Raw. So we are trying to put ourselves in that position to do just that. So one of the things we do is actually go on all the platforms, instead of just sticking to Twitter, where there's oh yes, that's Web3, but it's yeah, but half of the community is still in Web2 that we're trying to talk to. And that's where we do get a little bit of a we're trying to get educators and learners and onboarders and old people. So, it's we have this double-edged sword, but I know when we all get together, that's where the magic happens. I think when these people are looking for the space and they see others doing it, then that's what starts to ignite that fire and be oh, wow, I can do that too. One lady, she crochets and she's turned her crochet into digital crochet and a physical and digital, pair. And it's think about how many people crochet or knit or anything like that. And it's that's an entire community you can now pioneer. Now they're having Zoom sessions, because that's an older community. So now the woman, CJ, who does the crochet, she started Zoom sessions where they just get on Zoom and crochet together. And there's 2 of people out of maybe 20, I want to say, because it's a pretty big group that are interested in actually going digital, and that will continue to grow. So one of the things we always try to do is just meet people where they're at already, go to them and show them what we're doing and be these examples, more importantly, and show them we keep all of our education transparent. Like you said, we are learning very much along the way, trying different tools, trying different things. And that's what's even pushed us to one of our biggest initiatives, which is this peer review system that we're trying to do for reviewing marketplaces and reviewing tools that we use, because we've used a lot of tools now at this part to try to track our governance allocations and these different kind of things that our community can use. So, creating some type of system or again, even our website where it's going to have those kind of reviews. So I'll dive a little bit more into that here so that it all just comes together and makes sense. So we're doing this peer review for marketplaces where we have all of these NFT artists and we're creating a scoreboard. If you've seen Reddit or the consumers reports or anything like that, where you go buy a product and then you can give a review like normal, right? But there's nothing like that in Web3. So we're creating this hub where you can review different marketplaces. So NFT artists can talk about their experience with minting on these different marketplaces, as well as collectors can talk about buying from these marketplaces. And we can create a hub so that now as new artists are coming in, they'll come to our website and see which marketplaces work best for them, what's the pros and cons, and we'll be able to even create a questionnaire, what is your NFT project include, so that we can maybe show you some good results that might work best for you. Just creating this hub of resources so that when people are coming into the space, they're like, I need to find Raw DAO. We're in the metaverse. We're having workshops. We're on Twitter Spaces, Clubhouse, Instagram Live. We even have a Facebook group. Like, wherever you're at, we will meet you there so that we can get you the education that you need, get you the tools that you need, get you connected with whoever you need so that you can help yourself go physical to digital and know that you have a whole ecosystem behind you that has your back and, has more networking and educational events coming up that you can continue to grow with as well.
I really like your vision, and like also the way you are very open with your you're very welcoming to the DAO members and onboarding process. And I think that's really important, because if you feel like you're trying to enter a community and there's nobody really like trying to interact, or you have to go through all these hurdles, I think it just makes it more complicated for people who are not in Web3. Even for me, sometimes I'm trying to join DAOs, but then there's this humongous process of joining the DAO. And I'm like, I just want to first take a look, like see what's up, and maybe talk to one or two people, because I just want to know what's going on in this DAO, and so I think it's really nice that you have this positive open kind of vibe, and that you're wanting to make these like real life things into more digital things and really set your clear goals. And I'm wondering, where do you see, like in general, the future of DAOs? Like what kind of place are they going to hold in like maybe the economy in general?
Oh, yeah, I think DAOs are one of the most powerful tools that are coming about during this revolution. Because if we go into my crypto Mocaso mode, I will tell you all about the fourth industrial revolution, on all the stuff that we're living through and how you better get it together because it's happening. But I think DAOs are definitely one of those pillars that are going to show people, there's a better way to do this kind of stuff that we see that wasn't working in the old system, right? And I go into telling people, like, we're moving to the stakeholder economy, where it's like everybody that's putting in should then be able to get out something, and it doesn't have to be like this traditional investment system, and that's why we always word things the way we do, because we don't want to be looked at like a security in that old system, because we don't want people investing just because they want something in return. Like, no, let's invest because we all have the same common mission. Let's align incentives in a different way, where now you're getting NFTs, that unlock more stuff in the workshops and in the magazines and the website. And, it just starts to unlock more of the community that you can access and things of that nature. And just, aligning incentives for the community is so amazing. I think that's something that's lacked in this old system. And that's where you see, people start to feel unappreciated at some point, or like they're not receiving that recognition. And that's why that pyramid doesn't always work well, because it's always that person up top. So I think DAOs being able to come in and show people like, hey, I am Mocaso, you are NewForum, and we can work together with a common mission without having to, I have to conform to you and you have to conform to me. We can do some awesome work, split 50-50. It's that simple, and being able to use these decentralized tools and use these new ways in order to try to make things happen. So I think DAOs are going to be able to enable a lot of people to start to do a lot of things. Even like myself, I'm sitting here talking with you all and you're not in America. I think that's one of the most amazing things about this whole space to me. Like, the NFT artists that I'm with, they're in Nigeria and Spain and Peru and just like all over the world. And again, like I said, just everybody that I'm connecting with is all over the world. And how many times do you have opportunities like that, or I'm in some Discords with people that I would have never been able to even like cross elbows with, type of thing, and so just seeing these kind of opportunities and being able to seize them and join a Discord, to join a DAO, to be, around, again, these kind of people that are willing to be in these spaces with you, willing to share tools and willing to have you around. I'm not a person that likes to miss many opportunities. So I will join as many Discords as I have to just start to learn from all of them. You see different ways that different Discords are set up and the different ways that different discords are running and communicating and have different parts on and just different tools that they're using. So it's really great when I see new DAOs with new missions, you know, because some DAOs aren't even supposed to last forever, right? Some just come out with a specific mission to get something done. Like say it was time to vote for the presidency, you know, that can now be like, oh, instead of a normal campaign that they start to have like during that last season, you would just have like a little campaign DAO kind of thing where it's like maybe just seasonal. And so it's really interesting when I see those kind of DAOs that are just like super mission oriented and just all the things. Like anytime you're talking to somebody with a DAO, the amazing things that they're trying to do. I just was talking to one, Tired Moms, and it's like, yeah, they're gonna go buy, they're selling Tired Mom NFTs, but they're gonna go buy 100 Bitcoin miners so that the Bitcoin that they mine actually starts to fund their DAO so that they can support a lot of the charities and stuff that they have, and partnering with coffee because they're tired moms. And it's like, that's genius, you know? So it's just like, once you start really seeing the potential again with DAOs, one lady, she's like, she has a whole bunch of teachers that are like having this weird feeling with how the way the school systems are going. It's like, start a DAO. And, you know, like anytime you have a group of people with that common mission, it's like, start a DAO. You now have a solution where you can work together collectively, use some tools, and start getting stuff done just the same.
That's great, very deep and really great. So I'm just thinking, like, would you say DAOs are for everything?
Definitely. I would say you can make a DAO just for anything.
So example, if you wanted to maybe like, because we had one guest who said he didn't think that let's say if you wanted to build like a software, like a software company, or trying to build something like that, a DAO might not be suitable for something like that. Perhaps unless you have a few members, but if like it's a bigger number of people, it might not be suitable. And something like maybe Google or Amazon could not survive as a DAO. Do you have any opinions in that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think if you have it set up appropriately, anything could work as a DAO, because the awesome part about it is one of the biggest things that DAOs have is a treasury, you know, so it's like you're out here doing initiatives to grow a treasury to now fund your project. So all it takes is really good structure, you know, the same thing that a business has, but now instead of one person making all of the decisions, everybody's making all of the decisions. And I think that's where the shift changes, where again, instead of like it just going back up to the top and then back to the top down to the bottom, it's more like, no, we're all here, we all have a say, like let's figure this all out together. And I think that's a way healthier way that people starting software companies should be running, you know, especially from my experience, those are a lot more of the strong-minded people, you know, who they have their opinion. And, you know, it's not going to be easy to change that opinion either. So, again, having a way where it's like, okay, well, your opinion can be your opinion and your vote is your vote. Let's see what the majority thinks. Let's have a clear way. And that's why that voting structure starts to become unique, you know, because any DAO can be structured any way. This is something we're all, you know, marching into with no guidance, and you can really create something that works for you. There's no rule book on how this has to look, on what has to happen, other than there's a common treasury, you know, that everybody votes on how to use. So I think with that being the like basis of it, anything can use the power of individual organizations coming together to complete common missions and raise funds to fund that more, even if it's just to fund themselves, you know, say the three of us wanted to create software together and, you know, we create a DAO because we want to grow that community with the people actually using the software and get their opinions as well as we're building it. And then we let people know, you know, hey, once it's actually launched, we're going to dissolve this DAO because all the decisions have been made, everything will be done, and then you'll just be able to use the software from here. And that's how you can start to see like, oh, I'm about to be launching. Here's a tool, a DAO that I can use as a strategy to help me build a community, help me build momentum around this project that I'm getting ready to launch.
Well explained. Yeah, makes sense. And so like back to this topic of NFTs, you know, we do have a lot of like beginners in our community as well. So I was wondering if you could explain digital to digital. What does that mean? And learn to earn, like the learn to learn concept and physical to digital concept.
Oh, yes. So learn to earn, that is a very, very new term, especially another little exclusive for you all. I'm happy I'm able to actually drop a lot of these exclusive things that we haven't started to tell the world too much about. But yes, learn to earn. It's like play to earn, where to earn, like all these different concepts. And it's like, hey, let's do learn to earn. We have all this education. We're trying to gamify this information that we're having so that people are enjoying while they're learning. People are incentivized to learn too, again, because Web3 and DAOs are all about incentives and making sure incentives are aligned. So it even has to go down to the learner, making sure that they're receiving incentives to learn, and keep learning. So one thing that we're kind of trying to do with that is I kind of alluded to like NFT drops and governance tokens and those being able to unlock more and more. So we haven't kind of exposed a lot of the stuff that will be unlocked, but that's going to be the awesome part about it, that the more you learn, the more governance tokens you'll earn. One thing that I've been doing is actually making patches. So like if you ever had like a backpack or something, you can put like little patches on it, or a Letterman jacket is something that we'll be doing with the Letterman jacket. And then you'll get all your patches as you're learning different things. And these patches will be AR filters and just super cool stuff like that, where it's like, you're going to start to build up that collection. Just like anytime we have Twitter spaces or we have like a crossword puzzle, and when you get co-ops for completing them. So we always want to be rewarding people for completing things and having them earn. So we haven't started to specify too much what people are going to be earning, because I think you can get really, really creative with that. And we have a really awesome outline that we're going to be dropping when it's like, here's what you're really going to be able to earn. Here's what it unlocks and the steps that it can continue to grow with. So it's a really fun concept we're playing with. And physical to digital, again, anyone can take what they do in the physical and change to digital. Even if you don't have the physical, it can be inspired by that physical, right? Like I said, one girl, Zay, who took a picture of her animal fur and made a fur bag out of that. She doesn't necessarily have a physical fur bag, but it was inspired by that. And now she's super inspired, where it's like she was working with one person who was like, hey, let's look at endangered species, so she found like a really cool website that had really nice pictures of these endangered species, and she was like zooming in like, yeah, we could get good pictures of their fur like this, and kind of like start to texturize it from there, and just be inspired by these physical attributes. I think one of the coolest things about the blockchain and us being so early is that we're making history, and we also have this like responsibility on what gets onto the blockchain and what is a part of this next chapter of history. So being able to use the things, from this physical that inspire us, that can make it into the digital as well, is something that I think is really amazing. We always tell people, we focus on physical and the digital. That's why we can't just be completely digital, because if your physical is not right, then your digital is not going to be right. So we also kind of focus on that physical first and foremost, like, how are you mentally? How are you physically? How, is there anything that we can do to help? We have like a gardening club, because it's like, you can be growing your own garden and just doing a lot of things so that you're putting yourself in a position where you can be truly self-sufficient using all of these tools, using NFTs and cryptocurrency, and just if you're applying the lessons that we're learning and the tools that we're gaining and really learning and growing in the space, you'll be putting yourself in an amazing position down the line. So that's really what the whole point of that physical to digital is, making sure you're taking care of your physical, make sure you're building in this digital, so that, again, 5 years from now and 10 years from now, you're in an amazing place for whatever is coming.
I really think you really have a great skill of like community building, and finding like really your perspective is really great, and your insights are really great. I even got like many new ideas, like the thing that you said with the patches, I think is super cool. And yeah, like just seeing the digital as an extension of what we are doing, and also the learn to earn concept, I think is super awesome, because I think people want to learn and people want to be part of things, and it's just like we need to just find ways that they can, like you said, be rewarded and stay motivated and also be onboarded right. So we can have them learn something valuable that they can use, and they can build their own thing and their own communities. And I think you're on a great mission, and I think it's really impressive. I'm really impressed by it.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate that, and can't wait to see your ideas come in. And that's what I'm all about. Like, let's get the ideas going. Let's keep building from there. And that's what I try to do in the community, so that they can do that for the community. So it's awesome to see the moderators kind of picking up that energy, everybody just that's joining the community, having that same energy, because now you can join with your ideas, and it's like, hey, we've got ideas, let's keep building. And it's like, yes, exactly. That's why we focus on not just education, but also networking, right? Because those two have to go hand in hand. We really monitor ourselves after like a university, and a lot of the things that we've done to set ourselves up, even in our metaverse. We're building this like campus style like learning center, so that when we have workshops, we can all go into the metaverse and just have like different things where it's like you're again giving people that education, but the things that come with it as well, right? It's like when you go to college, you join a fraternity or a sorority, not because you're going to become this awesome human being. I mean, you will, of course, because they teach you some cool things. It's not going to knock that. But also because of the relationships that you're building with your brothers and the older people that have been a part of that before. And those connections, when you're trying to go and get a job or trying to go and do anything, you being able to say you're a part of something. And then also those networking events when you all get together, you start something, and then you have this whole network of brothers or sisters that are there to support you. So being able to offer that education on first and foremost, but then follow it with networking and saying, hey, we'll network. We can go and have a jam session. We can have a gardening club. We can have a building club. We started like a clubs initiative where we have 9 different clubs, and it's like gaming and just so many, even animals, because like I said, we have a lot of animal lovers, and it's like, what do you like? Find that little community and start building. We try to keep it very open, so that like you put it amazing, like so that you can come find your people too and start building your community and your ideas more in this space as well. So I'm happy that that's what you got from it, because that's definitely our mission.
It's really a great mission, and we really appreciate your approach when it comes to onboarding, because I already feel very comfortable, and I feel like, I can just easily reach you and have a conversation with you. And I think that this is how our community watching this episode, they're going to feel that same way, or just anyone who ends up coming across this episode is going to feel that, because that's the energy that you're like channeling. And I think it's really great. And I think we need more of that in this space, because when people think about Web3, they're just thinking about, blockchain or crypto. It just seems so intimidating, like machines and humans interacting. Like, how is that? Like, there are geeks behind Twitter. Like, there's just all these weird ideas going on in people's minds when they think about Web3 and crypto. So it's really nice that you brought this human vibe to this whole thing, and I really appreciate it, and all the insights, and just very informative conversation. So thank you so much, really, Mo. This was great, and I'm wondering where our listeners and community can find you on your social media.
Thank you for that. You can find me on social media at Mocasso. That's MOCASSO _of _NFTs with an S. So Mocasso _of _NFTs. That's on Instagram and on Twitter. You can also find the Raw DAO on Twitter and on Instagram. It's _raw_DAO. So you can find us there. I'll definitely send you links as well, so that you can drop those in the comment box below, as well as our Discord link, because we would love to continue to grow our community. Always looking for those that want to help add to the community, come learn, grow together, so that we can take over this space. We're just getting started. I always tell people we just getting started. So catch me while you can.
Yeah.
Yes, love that attitude. And we're definitely gonna link all of Mo's and also the Raw DAO links in the bio. And thank you everyone who tuned in with us today, and thank you, Mo and Salimi. And if you guys want to also get more involved within our community, make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We are NewCoin and NewForum _NCO, and we also have a private Telegram group where we discuss everything that's happening within Web3. And yeah, I'm super excited for Raw DAO. Like I'm definitely gonna check in the Discord and see what's going on. And yeah, thank you so much, Mo, for joining us today. I think it was a pleasure.
It was. Thank you guys for having me. I really look forward to many more of us having these kind of opportunities. Like I said, we're just getting started. You know, we already talked about our next articles together and so much more. So you ladies keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for having me and considering me. I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mo.
Thank you, Mo. Have a great one.
Yes.